Alabama Mario. All right, everybody. JohnnyCast, I think it's episode 4 at this point. You could just, or JohnnyCast Sports Show, excuse me. Episode 4 or 5. You could check down. You'll be seeing it. If you're watching on YouTube, the title will be below you. Spotify, Apple, same type of deal. And I want to also make a revision here. Last episode of the regular podcast, the JohnnyCast, I was ranting and raving about how amazing the audio sounded. Turns out that the gain was just pulled and cranked up so high in my headphones that it sounded great to me, but it was just all types of distorted, and I don't have the engineering prowess to be able to figure out how to EQ and do all this shit to the audio, so it sounds like shit. It is what it is. But let's hop into football first, because we have a lot of quarterback movement the last week and a half, and I think we'll start off with, just quickly to recap, you got Derek Carr going to New Orleans. Now, it seemed like that's where he wanted to be from the jump, and I don't blame him. I think he used the Jets for leverage, and good for him. He got paid stupid money, along with Danny Jones, who people are freaking out about that contract. If you actually look at the way it's structured, it's really not that big of a deal for the Giants, and he's really not guaranteed a lot of it. So I'm not. If I'm a Giants fan and you're a little bit skeptical about Daniel Jones, if you're one of those guys, I wouldn't be worried at all. I'd be much happier to pay him rather than give Saquon a long-term deal, which seems like they made the right move in doing. So yeah. So there's that. Now, on top of that, you got Geno Smith, who moved and got locked up, $100 million contract, and I'm happy for him, because I couldn't imagine being a journeyman and then actually out of nowhere just getting paid. There was no expectations whatsoever. Now 1 year goes by and you're getting paid life-changing, generation-changing, altering money. So happy for Geno. I mean, he deserves it. He had an incredible year last year. I think that the team around him likes it. They got some young talent, and they're only going to get better. You got to imagine it's going to be one of Pete Carroll's last years also, because he's getting up there in age. I think he might be like after Bruce Arians was done, I think he might be the oldest coach in the NFL, believe it or not. I'm not exactly sure on that. You could fact check me in the comments. But so there's that. Jimmy G earlier today signing with Las Vegas. That's a funny one to me, because is he a downgrade from Derek Carr? Maybe, but also he's not really. The issue is he just gets hurt all the time, and Derek Carr was this, Eli Manning type Iron Man, where he just really wouldn't be hurt a lot of the time. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. The common theme here, though, is that all these quarterbacks, specifically Jimmy G and Derek Carr, were Jets prospects, and now each one that goes down, each domino that falls, implicates the Aaron Rodgers camp into probably that trade happening. And earlier also today, we had Mike White signing with Miami, which I'm very happy about also. I hate to kind of see him in the same division, but it is awesome. He got paid $16 million over 2, and clearly in the world of sports, that's not a lot of money. But if you just kind of in a vacuum think about a real person, he's a real person with a real family, $16 million over 2 years is money that most people never see in their entire lives. So happy for him. He seems like, from what I've seen the last couple of years, he's an extremely hard worker. We know that at least the locker room with the Jets really rallied around him. So you got to imagine, after all those trials and tribulations, sure, he didn't become the starter of the Jets. The story kind of ended in the not really a Cinderella type ending, this happy ending, but he gets paid. He gets to play in nice weather. So good for him. Now, again, all these quarterbacks checking off the list, and you think about now the New York Jets, they got to be itching and scratching a little bit and getting a little nervous. But realistically, I'm recording this podcast today. It seems like the Rodgers deal is done. Now, someone commented on, so I think Trey Wingo was writing about how he thinks that the Rodgers deal is a pretty much done deal. And then someone under that tweet commented, "Arson Rodgers." That is one of the funniest tweets I think I've ever seen in my life. I laughed out loud when I saw that. So you got to imagine that Aaron Rodgers deal is pretty much done, and it's really exciting. At the beginning of the offseason, I was really weighing the idea of Derek Carr versus Rodgers, and there's a lot of pros and cons to both, believe it or not, and not really. There's not really many cons to either, but really when you're able to pick the best of the litter, you can get a little picky. So with Derek Carr, we know we're getting 4 to 5 years, a little bit more longevity, a little bit more consistency. He's in relatively the prime of his career. Either way, we know that clearly Aaron Rodgers, still to this day, even though he's getting up there in age, is still much more talented and much more just ready to go than Derek Carr. But Derek Carr would in essence be the best quarterback the Jets have had on their roster in decades, right? Probably since Vinny Testaverde. So I would have liked the idea of signing him, but you don't get that extremely high ceiling which Rodgers gives you. The difference, Rodgers is a little bit of a wild card. He might get lippy with the New York media, and you don't know how much he's got left in the tank. I mean, I don't think there's anything to panic about. Last year, which was a theme the last couple of years, he gets frustrated with the talent around him. Last year was kind of like the climax of that. He had no one around him after his main man up in Las Vegas leaves. He doesn't really have anyone to lean on, and then he's throwing to these guys who are like the longest yard type shit. So, I mean, when people are kind of trying to act like Alan Lazard is this wide receiver one and that like all this stuff, that's when you know it's bad. So I think he still has stuff left in the tank. I think he even honestly has something left to prove. He's going to have a legitimate chance to win a Super Bowl now. I think, and I'm not exactly knowing this for sure, but I believe that the Jets currently, without the Rodgers news being fully real, are right now, because of the speculation around it, I think the 6th favorite to win the Super Bowl next year. And you got to imagine when he does get traded inevitably, and I don't want to jinx it, but when he does get traded inevitably, maybe he creeps up to the Jets creep up to 4 or 5. So with that being said, I mean, for Rodgers to get a second title with a different franchise, that might be exciting. That might be really exciting. Also, I think, and I could be way off on this, but I'm pretty sure I heard not many quarterbacks have won multiple Super Bowls with different teams in different conferences. So that might be something he's after. And I think, yeah, it might just be fun for him. I mean, you got a lot of young talent around him. He's going to have one of the better defenses in the NFL surrounding him. And on the offensive side of things, sure, not too deep at wide receiver, but Garrett, Offensive Rookie of the Year, my favorite player in the NFL, period, end of sentence. I think he's going to have an incredible second year, especially if they do bring in Aaron Rodgers. We'll see how much he can unlock Elijah Moore. And then there's rumors swirling around that he's trying to recruit some of the big boys, even like, I mean, not big boys, but like Adam Thielen, who, if he could stay on the field, God bless, I'd love that. Obviously, Lazard has been has been rumored to be interested as well. You pair all those guys around them. I was talking to a buddy yesterday. It is true the Jets don't have like a tremendous. They have the game breaker, right? They have the game breaker in Garrett Wilson, but you'd like to have like a retro type, even like a T. Higgins. You'd like to have a big dude who can go up and get a ball, right? You're within 10 yards, you can just toss him the ball, fade it out to him, and he's just right there to take it and be over everyone. You never know the availability, of Mike Evans at this point. There's been some rumors around that. So a lot of stuff to digest with that, but it's exciting. I mean, the Jets make that fleece move with the Ravens, get their leading tackler last year, the safety. Awesome move. I love it. So you add a little bit to the offensive line. I'm hearing Mekhi Becton's in better shape than he's ever been. We don't know that until we know it, but AVT is going to be back and ready to go. This is going to be a fun team. I understand why Vegas has them at maybe a 4 or 5 favorite. And then you start the year off, and Rodgers gets in a little groove. He starts to build a rapport with that team. You never know how deep they can go and what they can really do. So, and also I didn't mention Breece Hall, which I think the Breece Hall situation is a little bit overblown, where people think that he's going to come back right now and be this electric, like unbelievable runner. Not saying he's not, but I mean, the man's coming off of an ACL tear. I don't care who you are, and if you heal fast or heal slow, it's going to take a couple weeks, in my opinion, to really get in the groove, get in the swing of things. So I wouldn't expect him to be making crazy moves until maybe the middle of the year. Jets cut Berrios, who, I mean, who cares? Realistically, who cares about Braxton Berrios? He also dropped the ball to basically ruin the entire year last year, and maybe Mike White's career with the Jets. You don't know how anything goes after that ball's caught, and the Jets beat the Vikings in that. I think it was week 13. I just made that up, but that was a brutal game. Bruce McGo. So you got that right. So that's my. We'll have some more news on the Rodgers talk once it actually breaks. All right. So enough of NFL talk. I guess we can transition into. I had a conversation today with one of my pals, and we were discussing top 10 athletes in New York. I think it might have been a tweet he saw, and this is again excluding Rodgers, assuming that Rodgers is not on the Jets at this point. And I was breaking it down, and off the bat, I mean, it took me like a minute or two, But I wanted to really think about who are the best athletes in New York, and this is the list I came up with in no particular order. I'll just go, I guess, team by team. So Yankees wise, I think you obviously Judge is on there, and there's an argument to be made for Garrett Cole. I don't know if he really belongs on that top 10, but probably Garrett Cole. So there's 2 right there. The Mets, I think definitely Edwin Diaz, and most likely Pete Alonso. I'm leaving Lindor off the list. So that's 4 right there. Then on top of that, on the Mets, you have Verlander is definitely 5. Scherzer, I off the bat said yes, but then I thought about it and I said no. There's just he needs to show me he's not going to fizzle out again before I call him a top 10 New York athlete right now. So that's 5 if I did that math correctly. Now basketball wise, I mean really it's just Jalen Brunson. I'm not putting Randall there. Volume scorer, great, but I mean, if you watch him day to day on a nightly basis, he is not a top 10 athlete star in New York. He's just not. So there's 6. Jets, Quinton Williams, and Sauce. So now we're at 8. Now 9 was Dexter Lawrence for me. And that's pretty much it. So we got 1 left, and then you can kind of pick and choose from a lot of different people. One of my Giants friends tried to act like Saquon Barkley is in the top 10. Are you joking, dude? I mean, he's not even in the top 15, dude. So you can get funny with the last one. There's a lot of weird ways you can go. You could put Lindor in there, although You could throw another Yankee in there like Stanton, honestly. But again, no. Mikal Bridges, you can get really cute with. I mean, he's playing very well. You could even throw Randall in there. So I'm not exactly sure where you'd want to throw that last player in, but those are probably, if we're going to round out 10 players, that's probably the ballpark, the arena of where we're at with top 10 athletes in New York. And hopefully hopefully Aaron Rodgers, they're both Aarons, so it confused me. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers will be that 10th player. We don't have to worry about that weird little thing. So let's get into the tournament quickly. I want to let everyone know this. Usually, so if you know me intimately, right, you know that Johnny was a tremendous gambler for a pretty long time. I'm not proud of it at all. Went through a lot of stuff regarding it. I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, so I've really tried to separate myself from a lot of different gambling type things, and I've really over the last year really healed my relationship with sports in an incredible way where I can watch a random like West Coast basketball game in November and enjoy it, right? Baseball is a different scenario because I love it, and obviously football is just, I mean, every game is great, but it took me a while to kind of shed the idea of, okay, what's this line? Oh my God, I'm not betting on this. It would be so much more fun if I was watching this, if I was betting on this. And it really does, it bothers me a little bit, to be honest with you, that gambling is so thrown in everyone's face right now. Because I think the culture is a lot of young kids are going to be thrust into this, even in high school. I'm sure they're signing up with like maybe their parents' information that when you turn 18, I think it's illegal to do it. And so you're providing this culture where, sure, if you do it responsibly, it's okay, but there's going to be a lot of people who just can't do that, and they're going to continue to have that unit climb up, and then after a while, it's going to become a problem. And so a lot of these lines I'm not really paying attention to, and one of, I mean, to be straight up and clear and very transparent, my favorite bet in the world was, my favorite wager to place in the world was a basketball over-under. Didn't matter the league, it could be college, it could be NBA, and it wasn't just overs, it wasn't just unders. It was just what I was feeling on that game, and that was such an electric bet for me. I don't know why. It just put me in the zone. I loved it. And so the tourney last year was probably the last time I was gambling, and so I having not gambled for a year, college basketball, I really have not paid attention to this year at all. I usually am much more involved in it. Nothing crazy, but definitely much more knowledgeable than I am now, being it's Monday before the Thursday of the first round, or I guess technically the second round at this point. And I'm not really too in the know. So I'll keep that absolutely transparent. I don't probably know what the fuck I'm talking about in a lot of ways. What I do know is I love Alabama. Absolutely love Alabama. Not trying to shtick or steal Mike Francesa's shtick here, but because I know he likes Alabama as well. But that kid who's probably going to go away to 25 to life with the gun charge, he is unbelievable. He really is. Watching him is so incredible. And I think that they're just set up to really, I mean, they're very well rounded. A lot of injuries everywhere, as we know. And again, I haven't watched a lot of these teams. The one game that I have watched, the last couple games I've watched, was I was watching Penn State go throughout the Big Ten tournament. And it upsets me. I was reading that Penn State's coach is going to get probably poached and probably taken away from the program after this year because he's doing so well. Penn State finally secures a good coach. Maybe he can recruit well in the state of Pennsylvania. And now all of a sudden, boom, he's gone. I mean, that would suck. But watching that Purdue Penn State Big Ten championship showed me two things. Edey's a cheat code, and last year watching Purdue with Jaden Ivey. Obviously their offense was run through Jaden Ivey, but like a lot of the things you don't even think about, like combating against the press and just pressure situations in general, they didn't really have much of a problem with last year. Watching that Big Ten championship, they completely collapsed. It was miserable watching that. Even with Edey on winning the game pretty much with that offensive putback, having Penn State down 17 with not much time to go and getting it within 2 with the ball with 6 seconds left, and then completely fizzling out with just a miserable possession. I mean, you don't even get a shot off. You fucking that kid walked twice in the last 4 possessions for Penn State. But it showed me that I do like Penn State's heart. Jay Wright, I said this on my other podcast. Jay Wright was talking about how the Texas A&M Penn State 10-7 matchup is probably the best first round matchup of the tournament. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's intriguing. Which hopefully Penn State wins. But they can play pretty hard, and also on the flip side, as a 1 seed, I would not trust Purdue. Would not trust Purdue. So I haven't even made my bracket yet. I probably will have Bama going the whole way if I had to guess. I really like Duke at the 5, and I know a lot of people do because they're hot. I think they've won 9 in a row. But I like them a lot. And that's really all I got. It's really all I got. I'm always partial to Big East teams. Always partial to the ACC as well in basketball. So, excuse me. I'll probably have a lot of those teams going deep. But that's really all my. I hate to be disappointing here. That's all of my takes on the tournament. For good reason. It's because I don't pay attention too much because of that whole that whole gambling situation. Now, last basketball thing, and then we're gonna get into baseball, which is gonna be the bulk of this podcast. Is Sean Kemp is being tried now for doing a drive-by shooting? Seattle Supersonic, Sean Kemp. I mean, I looked at the Basketball Reference just to be a little bit fresh on this. I mean, 6-time All-Star. I mean, he was a beast. He's like, I mean, it's a bad look. When you're in your 50s and you're doing drive-bys, it's a bad look. I think that the limit for a drive-by shooting, I mean, if I don't condone it, obviously, but I mean, got to be 35 and under. If you're doing drive-bys, you're over 35. Something's wrong, dude. Go see a therapist. 35 and under. Drive-by city, population, but not over 35. It's a bad look. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for the guy. He's probably with a bunch of 20-year-olds trying to be like the kids. Come on, bro. You were a former superstar in the NBA. Maybe not superstar, but you were a former star in the NBA. You had it all. And now you're in probably some fucking beat-up Dodge Challenger driving by, doing it dirty. I mean, come on, bro. Come on. All right, now let's get to that's enough. So let's get to fucking. Let me go. My fucking dog's ringing the bell right now. I can't even pay attention because the fucking bell keeps going. She's probably got to go out. So I'm gonna let her out. Then we're gonna discuss baseball. So give me saco un momento. All right, I'm back. Let's talk baseball. Let's talk World Baseball Classic first. First of all, gun show. I'm looking at myself in the mirror here. I got mirrors all over the place, so it looks like I'm in a fun house right now. You can't see that. It's behind the camera. But World Baseball Classic. This is my opinion on the World Baseball Classic. It just doesn't move the needle for me. I don't know exactly what it is, and I understand you can't put it after the World Series in November for many reasons. But something is just missing from that, where when I watch it, I understand it's like a good thing, I guess, for fans who don't really watch, but I am the target demographic, I'd imagine. I am a huge baseball fan who watches 150 plus games of my own team a year. I watch countless other games. I mean, I probably watch 75 Mets games a year. I watch West Coast games after 10 p.m. I know all the players, obviously. it's not it doesn't mean anything. The idea of it being an exhibition, like it has no weight to me. And so watching like USA Great Britain, it's just not fun. I understand that a lot of teams, which I don't blame them, hold their breath. They don't want their players playing because God forbid they get hurt. But the pitching staff is a joke. I mean, you got 85-year-old Adam Wainwright is the number one starter on Team USA. So he's getting taken deep. I mean, Trace Thompson, who knows why he's playing for Great Britain, takes him deep the first inning. And do you care? No. I mean, I watched Team USA lose to Mexico yesterday. It didn't really matter to me. It was cool seeing like Rowdy Tellez and all these guys, Verdugo. I had no idea. I guess Rosarena is not really a Mexican-born player, but he somehow found a loophole, so he's playing for Team Mexico. Yeah, I mean, it's just not that fun. But I will say this. It's cool seeing like Venezuela when they played the DR. That was such a passionate, intense, emotional game. You got every player there who's young, some of the best players in the world, period, end of sentence. Everyone's got their chains out. Every run is a big deal, right? You got Alcantara pitching. You got just like people running out of the dugout. And the game is fast-paced because there's a buzz in the ballpark. It's also in Miami. I think it was played in Miami. Such a buzz in that ballpark. When you're watching that game played, you don't even need a pitch count because it's just electric. It's a different feeling to that sport. When you kind of compare that to, again, Team USA playing Great Britain and all these teams, it just is. It's not fun. It's not fun to me. And again, this isn't a hit piece on Mike Trout, but everyone probably knows I'm not a Mike Trout guy. It's like he's the face of the team. He's fucking wallpaper. No one even cares. He's playing center field. He has no emotion. No one gives a shit, dude. No one cares. You got Ohtani playing at like God knows when in Japan, so no one can watch him really. That's another thing. Again, I'm a huge baseball fan. The marketing has been bad in my opinion. I didn't even know that before the first USA game, it had been going on. So like Japan has been playing, and all these teams have been playing, even like Venezuela and Puerto Rico, they've been playing. I didn't even know that. So, yeah, it just doesn't move the needle for me. I get it's an exhibition. It's cool. It's much more enticing than just a regular spring training game, especially if it's not your team, so you don't get to see your young kids play. But, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. All right, let's move on to Yankees baseball, or even more generally, just the MLB. We're moving on from the World Baseball Classic. And actually, the last thing I'll say about the WBC is seeing another cool thing, I guess, is in the dugout, seeing D-Row as the manager, Andy Pettit as the pitching coach, and the 2-2 from Pettit. Caught on it, missed. Seeing Ken Griffey, the kid. I think he's the hitting coach. He might be the bench coach. Seeing those guys is cool. And it just reminds me of how sickening it is to have Aaron Boone as the manager of the New York Yankees when he's all smug in Florida right now, taking interviews from the dugout, talking about doing home run derby and BP before the game, right before. I mean, dude, it's enough. We've had enough. Let's move on. This year is already in the shitter. We know it is. I mean, everyone's hurt. You can't do a worse job if you're Brian Cashman. You literally can't if you tried. I said this last time. I'll say it again. Let's think about just this year, what's gone on. So you sign Rodon, who is an injury-prone guy, and sure, I like his attitude. He's kind of a killer when it matters. I get that, but he's never healthy. And wow, what a shocker. He's hurt to start the year. IL, going to be gone for probably the first month. He's not starting over 30 games this year. You have the best rotation in baseball. Well, guess what? Rodon's done. And not that anyone ever counted on him, but Montas is done, who is the biggest joke I've ever seen step on a baseball mound. So if you're Brian Cashman, let's think about this, okay? You sign Rodon, hurt. You trade for Bader. You trade for Harrison Bader, who I have, again, been on the record. I love Harrison Bader. The issue here is that he was traded for when he was hurt. Sure, he contributed very well in the playoffs. We know that. He was the only guy who hit pretty much besides Rizzo when it mattered in October. But now we have the offseason. Everyone's excited. We got a great little outfield situation besides left field. You might even move Judge to left to have Stan playing right. Now everything's solid. It's all fun, right? It's all fun. He goes down. Oblique. Done. 6 weeks. So now that's a joke. So now you got Bader. You got Rodon. You got Montas. Okay? Now, to piggyback off of that, the Twins trade, you got IKF, who the fans have fully demonized. He cannot play the position anymore. Shortstop is over for him. So he's useless. Josh Donaldson, who is a complete clown, we know that. Third baseman, 85 years old, balding, graying mullet. What are we doing here? I mean, the fact that he had the balls to say, if I didn't have anything left in the tank, I wouldn't be playing this year. Dude, you're making $28 million. No shit you're showing up. If I was making $28 million and I looked like Stephen Hawking, I'd show up to spring training. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we know Donaldson's useless. And then you got Ben Rodford, or I don't even know how to pronounce his name because he's never played a fucking inning for this team. You got Ben Rodford, hasn't played an inning for this team. I don't care if your triceps are nice. I mean, come on now. So Brian Cashman miserably failing in every accord, wasting this team's money, who they don't want to spend on things that actually matter, like hitting, like left-handed hitting, like left fielders, like third baseman, like contact hitters, right? They don't want to spend any money on that. They want to keep beating the starting pitching thing to death, which we never needed in the first place and has been a thing where we've gotten hurt on every time we do it. If you want me to backtrack even more, Sonny Gray. We didn't even mention Benintendi, who, I mean, you trade for him. In 2 weeks, the guy breaks his hamate bone. I never even knew that existed. That's another thing. This team doesn't do any due diligence whatsoever. So, I mean, you got Montas getting traded for with a bad shoulder. No one even knew that, okay? You trade for Benintendi. He's got some phantom bone in his arm that no one even knew about. He breaks that. He, like I said, doesn't play at all for the team and then signs elsewhere in the offseason. You gave away J.P. Sears in the Montas trade. He looks pretty solid. It's just very frustrating, and I'm getting tired of it, and then it trickles down. I'm getting tired of Boone already. I mean, I'm watching clips of Aaron Hicks. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt this year because I think he went through a lot last year, and he clearly was not mentally involved. He wasn't in it. Okay, fine. We all go through shit like that. It is what it is. Unfortunately for him, he's doing his job on a grand national stage where everyone not only knows how much he's getting paid, but they all can boo him publicly and yada, yada, yada. We get that. But now I got to see clips at spring of him looking at balls, looking at routine fly balls and letting them just drop in front of him for base hits. Looking clueless out there. He's the same guy he was last year. I don't want to see him on the field this year. I don't want to see him. Get him off the team. Done. Cut him. I don't care. Designate him for assignment. Waive him. Do whatever you need to do. I don't want to see him, okay? I don't want to see any of them. The only thing I will say that's very, very exciting, forget about the injuries, forget about the joke, old fucking just jokes that are on this team right now, like Donaldson, etc. I see Anthony Volpe doing his thing. I see Jason Dominguez doing his thing. And hey, guess what? Jason Dominguez, who's like 20, he just hit his, I think, fourth home run of spring. He looks electric. He's hitting like 420. Bader goes down, dude. Give the kid a chance. How old was Juan Soto when they brought him up? Let the kid breathe a little bit. Bring him up, okay? I would love nothing more in the world than start off opening day with Peraza at short, Volpe at second, Dominguez in left. Bring Judge to center, Stanton in right. If that was to be the case, I will be so happy that I will have nothing bad to say about the management right now. Nothing bad to say. Let the kids play. Let it happen. I want to also see a trade for Glaber. I keep talking about how bad Cashman is with trades. I don't care. Let him do that. Trade away Glaber, okay, while he's still worth something. I know I'm repeating myself from last podcast. I don't care. Let him do his thing, get him away, and get some type of arm in return we could fill in for the fifth spot in the rotation because I don't think Herman's going to cut it. Okay, or get some back-end bullpen help for Glaber Torres, which you clearly could do. Let's bring this down a notch for a second. My dream as a New York Yankees fan is you trade away some scraps for Tyler Wade. You trade with Oakland. I know we've had some really, really bad track record trading with Oakland over the last couple of years. I mean, let's face it, though. Cashman, no matter what team he trades with, he's getting fleeced. You bring Tyler Wade back, okay? Throw him at short. I mean, I guess maybe not because I like Peraza, but you do something with Tyler Wade. Throw him in the lineup somehow, okay? Dominguez in the lineup. Volpe in the lineup. Fire Boone, Mark DeRosa manager. I mean, oh my God. If that were to happen, I wouldn't complain for the rest of the year. I swear to God, this team could win 50 games. I just want to try it. I just want to try it out. Get T. Wade 400 at-bats. Let Volpe and fucking Peraza cook up the middle. I don't know where Tyler Wade would play then. I guess left field. Let's think about this for a second. Let's think out loud for a second. All right? Boom. You move Judge to center. Okay? You got no, maybe not. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have Dominguez in center. You have Judge in left. Stanton, this is a toughie. All right, this is what we do. We're going to teach Tyler Wade how to catch. Or no, we're going to teach DJ. This is what we're going to do. We're going to teach DJ to catch. We're going to have DJ behind the plate. T. Wade at short. No, T-Wade at second, Volpe at third, Peraza at short. Riz at first base, right? Tony fucking Riz. She was a who at Tone. Tony at first. We got Dominguez in center, Judge in left, Stanton right. Who's DHing? I don't give a fuck. Cashman could DH for all I care. That and have D-Row at manager, Firebone. That's all I want to see. If that were to be the case, I swear to God, I would take a private jet. I don't know who's paying for it. I'd take a private jet to Cashman's like fifth house and kiss him on the lips if that were to be the case. And he could manage it, or he could be the GM of the team until I die, because we need some fucking new skin. We need some new fucking blood in this fucking game. All right. So that's really all I got for today's sports episode. Okay, I'm feeling passionate about the New York Yankees. We got a couple weeks left. I'm getting tired of Pete Alonso's shtick. All right. Pete Alonso's shtick talking about how he bleeds USA. He wants to fucking you have to rip the jersey off his back. Dude, it's the fucking World Baseball Classic. You're a boner. You're a boner, Pete. Hey, Pete, I'm 175 pounds. I'll throw you in a locker, Pete Alonso, all right? Get the fuck out of here with that shit, okay? So I'm getting tired of this shit. It is what it is. And we're going to sign off, all right? JohnnyCast, Sportscast, fucking number 6 or 7, whatever the fuck, number 4. I'm feeling nice today. I'm feeling real nice, and it's just what it is, cuz. All right, I'm stealing Chrissy D's shtick here. It just is what it is. Goodbye.